awesome. I love how you just mentioned, like, starting off with that, how we're all influencers, how we're really designed to really step into a unique influence that only we have as Christians. And I love how you mentioned that, because I'm very passionate about that as well. And I'll talk about that sometimes too, how we just have this unique opportunity to really partner with the influencer. And so that makes us very unique and special. So
it's so true. And it's
Yeah.
honestly the secret sauce. I really believe that's what it is. When people ask me, how are you doing all of the things? Or how can you keep going at this pace? Or how are you always so happy? And I'm like, I'm not always happy. I have sad moments and frustrating moments, but it's the joy of the Lord. And that doesn't run dry when you're abiding. And so for people to understand that from a lens of leadership and business, you've had some really cool endeavors in the last couple of decades when it comes to business and how you serve people uniquely. You have entrepreneurship in your blood from your parents. And so I'd love for people to just get a little bit of a taste of what that is as we catalyze into the conversation of your zone of genius.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. So I grew up, and as we were talking a little bit before too, in a chiropractic household. So my father, he's a chiropractor, amazing chiropractor. And what's so cool is right when you walk into the doors, this was my like introduction to my faith. Right when you walk into the doors, he has this giant mural of the creation by Michelangelo with Adam and God and angels. And so that actually inspired with the tattoo, because I have that as a tattoo. I remember seeing that as a little kid, and he had a tattoo. My sisters had tattoos. I was like, oh, that would be awesome, right? So, anyways, that was like my introduction to faith, and it's really incredible because my father, as a chiropractor, operated from the standpoint the power that made the body heals the body, and that was actually on the mural itself. And so I remember just always, every time coming into the office, just seeing that over and over and over. And so that really started my journey to being a believer. And over time, I started to recognize this difference of being a believer to a follower.
That's good.
Of Christ. And it was really, when I started to recognize those moments, it was actually really in the hardships that I've experienced in my life. And we were just talking about hardship that I experienced this last month, being in the ER. That was actually a part of my experience when I was at the lowest lows of my life, going through a lot of health issues, in and out of the hospital, multiple weeks at a time. And even went through a divorce during that time as well, which was very, very hard. I recognized that in those moments, in those low moments, that I was really missing something that the world could never give, and that only God could provide. And that's when I started to recognize, okay, there's something to being a follower of Christ and experiencing that goodness as compared to just kind of walking lukewarm, I guess is the best way to explain it. And so I started to recognize that not just within myself, but also people around you. I know for so many people, the catalyst for their growth and for them to really experience the presence of God is through a friend or through a loved one, through somebody that's close to them. And I experienced that with my mom as well. I saw her use her music gifts to draw close to him. And that's what I was like, okay, maybe I can do the same thing. I have some gifts. Maybe I can use those gifts that God has given me so I can glorify him. And that really kickstarted ultimately my entrepreneur journey in that moment, was looking at, okay, God, you've given me these gifts. How can I take these gifts, bless other people, glorify you in the process using these gifts?